The situation in the Taiwan Strait takes a dramatic turn as United States military satellite intelligence detects a large-scale movement of Chinese military ships and infantry. They are seen crossing the strait from mainland China, heading towards the island of Taiwan. As the Chinese military presence grows in the area, the international community becomes increasingly alarmed. High-level meetings are convened by world leaders to discuss the potential ramifications of China's actions and devise a response plan. Analysts speculate that China is preparing to launch an invasion of Taiwan, further escalating the conflict and challenging the United States and NATO forces in the region. Military experts weigh in on the possible scenarios and outcomes of such an invasion, heightening global concern. As the world watches with bated breath, it becomes apparent that the situation is spiraling out of control. The United States and NATO now face the daunting task of responding to these aggressive actions, while also managing their ongoing conflict with Russia. Citizens around the world anxiously monitor the news, fearing that the conflicts may escalate into full-blown war. Protests break out in major cities, with people demanding peaceful resolutions to the crises at hand. As tensions rise, the United States and NATO begin deploying additional military assets to the region, preparing for the possibility of a two-front war. The stakes have never been higher, and the world waits with trepidation to see how the situation will unfold. Want to see more? You can now binge-watch all episodes of our series on our website. Get started today and explore the potential of the next world war. As the Chinese military continues its advance toward Taiwan, the Taiwanese government wastes no time in activating defensive measures on the Taiwan Strait. Their goal is to delay the arrival of the Chinese military and their infantrymen, buying precious time for the island's defense forces. These defensive measures initially prove effective, with the Chinese forces momentarily struggling to make headway. The Taiwanese military, determined to protect their homeland, capitalize on this opportunity and mount a strong resistance. However, as the hours pass, the positive effects of Taiwan's defensive measures begin to wane. More Chinese military vessels mobilize and hone in on the self-governed independent island, demonstrating the sheer might of China's armed forces. The world watches anxiously as the standoff in the Taiwan Strait intensifies. International leaders and diplomats scramble to broker a peaceful solution, fearing that a full-scale invasion could trigger a global war. Meanwhile, the United States and NATO continue to grapple with the reality of a two-front war, as they deal with both the Russian conflict and the Chinese aggression in the Taiwan Strait. Military strategists analyze the situation and propose various courses of action to manage these simultaneous threats. As Taiwan's defenses are pushed to their limits, the island's citizens brace for the worst. They rally together, offering support and assistance to one another as they face an uncertain future. With the situation growing more precarious by the minute, the international community anxiously awaits the next move in this high-stakes chess game. The outcome could have far-reaching implications for the future of global peace and stability. In the midst of the escalating tensions, Taiwan experiences a massive power outage, plunging the entire island into darkness. The blackout comes at the worst possible time, leaving the island's defense systems and communication networks severely compromised. Authorities scramble to assess the situation, trying to determine if the blackout is a result of a cyber attack, sabotage, or simply a catastrophic infrastructure failure. Meanwhile, the Taiwanese military struggles to adapt, relying on backup power sources and outdated communication methods. With the island's power grid down, civilian panic sets in. Stores are quickly emptied of supplies as people stockpile essentials, fearing the worst. Public services grind to a halt, with hospitals and emergency services operating at a minimal capacity. Local governments are overwhelmed, struggling to maintain order and provide aid to citizens in need. Looting and violence break out in some areas as desperation grows and law enforcement resources are stretched thin. The blackout only serves to heighten the already tense atmosphere, with rumors and misinformation spreading like wildfire. Some believe that the Chinese government is behind the power outage, while others point fingers at foreign hackers or even their own government. The United States and NATO, already grappling with their own conflicts, are forced to reassess their strategies in light of the new development. They must decide whether to divert resources to assist Taiwan in restoring power and order, or to focus solely on the military aspect of the crisis. As Taiwan's situation worsens, the international community watches with a mixture of concern and helplessness. Humanitarian organizations mobilize to provide aid and support, but their efforts are hindered by the ongoing military conflicts and the island's crippled infrastructure. With the clock ticking and Taiwan's defenses in disarray, it becomes increasingly clear that decisive action must be taken to avert a full-scale catastrophe. The question on everyone's mind is, who will step up, and what will be the cost of their intervention? Make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell to stay informed about the latest World War III worst-case scenario episodes. Thank you for watching. To stay up to date with our latest releases, all you've got to do is follow us across our various social media platforms. We're talking Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, you name it, we're there. Thank you for watching our channel. There's a whole lot more where that came from. Interested in binge-watching all episodes today? Head over to our website to access our entire media library using the URL link in the description. Ready to test your World War II knowledge? How many kamikaze pilots intentionally crashed their planes into enemy targets during World War II? Provide your answer or response in the YouTube comment box below. Stay tuned for the right answer. The answer is 2,800 pilots. As the Chinese military makes landfall in Taiwan, the island's defenders brace themselves for the onslaught. It doesn't take long for the conflict to erupt, with the Taiwanese military engaging the invading forces. The battle is intense, with both sides fiercely fighting for their cause. However, the Taiwanese military, despite their courage and determination, quickly finds themselves overwhelmed by the sheer power and numbers of the Chinese forces. As the fighting escalates, Taiwan's infrastructure is heavily impacted. Collateral damage from the conflict leaves cities in ruins, and the civilian population is caught in the crossfire. Desperation and fear spread throughout the island. Despite their best efforts, the Taiwanese military is unable to match the might of the Chinese forces. This grim reality becomes more apparent with each passing hour, as casualties mount and morale among the defenders begins to wane. The United States and NATO, monitoring the situation closely, find themselves in a difficult position. They must decide whether to intervene and risk escalating the conflict even further, or to focus on their own defenses and strategic objectives. As the international community watches with bated breath, Taiwan's fate hangs in the balance. The outcome of this conflict will have far-reaching implications for the global balance of power and the future of international relations. The Taiwanese military, though outmatched and outgunned, refuses to give up. They fight with unwavering determination, hoping to hold out long enough for international support to arrive. But as the Chinese military advances further into Taiwan, the odds seem increasingly stacked against them. Only time will tell if the Taiwanese military can hold out long enough for the international community to intervene, or if they will be forced to capitulate to the overwhelming might of the Chinese military. With the situation in Taiwan rapidly deteriorating, the United States and NATO are forced to make a difficult decision. Recognizing the urgency of the situation, they mobilize their military assets and begin moving them towards the Taiwan Strait. As troops, ships, and aircraft are readied for action, the international community waits with bated breath, knowing that this show of force could have far-reaching consequences. The stakes are incredibly high, and the potential for further escalation is ever present. Despite the rapid response of the United States and NATO, they are well aware that time is not on their side. Taiwan's military continues to fight valiantly, but they are struggling to hold off the relentless advance of the Chinese forces. As the US and NATO forces make their way towards the region, they are confronted with the grim reality that it may already be too late for Taiwan and its people. The Chinese military's swift and brutal invasion has left little room for hope, and the window of opportunity for intervention is rapidly closing. In this critical moment, the fate of Taiwan hangs in the balance. Will the United States and NATO be able to intervene in time to prevent further devastation? Or will Taiwan fall to the Chinese military before help can arrive? The world watches anxiously as the situation unfolds, acutely aware that the outcome of this conflict could forever alter the geopolitical landscape and the future of global peace and stability. As the crisis in Taiwan reaches a critical point, regional allies Japan and South Korea recognize the magnitude of the threat and take decisive action. They activate their military forces and coordinate with the United States and NATO to join the impending full-scale conflict against China. In a remarkable display of solidarity, the combined forces of the United States, NATO, Japan, and South Korea come together, determined to confront the Chinese aggression head-on. The world watches as the alliance takes a unified stand, knowing that this could mark the beginning of a new, uncertain chapter in global history. Want to see more? You can now binge-watch all episodes of our series on our website. Get started today and explore the potential of the next world war. Arm yourself with the power of advanced AI for video creation, high-quality copy generation, a diverse range of freelance services, top-notch hosting options, and the ultimate online privacy protection. Don't miss out on exclusive discounts and promotions. Sign up today by clicking on the links in the description. Your journey towards creating compelling content starts now.